You think attraction is simple, that it is something we can control, direct, and measure by logic. You think desire belongs only to the body, a response to beauty, chemistry, and timing. But the truth is much darker, much deeper, and far more dangerous. Attraction is not only about who you see in front of you, it is about the unconscious patterns carved into you long before you knew what love meant. And nowhere does this hidden truth reveal itself more powerfully than in the forbidden attraction to men who are already taken. Married men, committed men, men who should be off limits, and yet somehow carry the most magnetic energy you have ever felt. This is not about blame. It is not about judgment. It is about understanding why the forbidden has such power over the heart, and why women who thought they knew themselves suddenly find their breath stolen by a man who does not belong to them. Carl Jung once said that we do not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. The forbidden secret of sexual attraction to taken men is one of those shadows. To ignore it is to stay in the dark, repeating cycles that break hearts. To face it is to finally understand your own unconscious and the hidden forces that move your desire. Why does the taken man draw the eye, the heart, the body? Because what is unavailable becomes charged with energy. When something is marked as off limits, the unconscious lights it up with fascination. It is the child who reaches for the flame. It is the forbidden fruit in the garden. It is the desire that says, because I cannot have it, I must taste it. But it is not only rebellion, it is also projection. A married man often radiates qualities that women unconsciously long for: stability, maturity, experience, proof that another woman already values him. In Jungian terms, he carries the archetype of the provider, the ruler, the lover already chosen. And in the unconscious mind, what is chosen appears more valuable than what is free. You may tell yourself you would never cross the line. You may believe you are too wise, too moral, too careful. Yet the body reacts before the mind. The heart beats faster when he enters the room. His attention feels like sunlight where you thought you were invisible. The fact that he is not yours only makes the glow feel sharper. Jung spoke often about the shadow, the part of the psyche that hides what we refuse to admit. The attraction to a married man is not only about him, it is about what he awakens in your shadow. Perhaps it is the hidden hunger to be chosen above another woman, to prove your worth. Perhaps it is the unhealed wound of abandonment that longs for recognition, no matter the cost. Perhaps it is the fear of intimacy disguised as desire, because deep down you know he cannot fully be yours. The forbidden attraction is a mirror. It reflects the places where your soul is still split between longing and fear, between desire and self-protection. The married man is only the stage on which your unconscious plays its drama, and this is why women often describe it as overwhelming. They say, "I don't know why I felt so drawn. It wasn't just his looks, it was something deeper, something I couldn't explain." What they cannot explain is the collision between their conscious morals and their unconscious shadow. The attraction is not just about him, it is about them, about you, and what has not yet been brought into the light. Projection is one of Jung's most powerful insights. It means we do not see people as they are, but as our unconscious needs paint them. When a man is married, projection works even harder. You do not just see him, you see the image of safety, love, and belonging you have been missing. You see proof that he knows how to commit, because someone else already has his promise. You see in him the qualities you ache for, and your unconscious amplifies them until he becomes larger than life. But projection is a trap, because what you are in love with is not him, it is your own missing pieces reflected back at you. He is a mirror of what you want to heal, but not the one who can heal it. And yet, until you recognize this, the attraction feels unstoppable. There is also the raw psychology of the forbidden. Studies in desire have shown that secrecy and danger intensify attraction. The fact that he is taken creates a thrill, even if you do not want to admit it. The unconscious loves what feels like a secret fire. The very risk of being caught, of stepping into territory that is not yours, creates adrenaline, and adrenaline feels like passion. This is why some women confuse the forbidden with destiny. They say, "It feels so powerful, it must mean something." But intensity is not the same as truth. The forbidden flame burns brighter, not because it is right, but because it is hidden. To ignore this secret is to risk heartbreak, because the attraction to a taken man is almost always a path that leads to loss. Even if he notices you, even if he flirts back, even if something begins, he is not free to give you what you think you want. And deep down, your unconscious knows this. That is why it feels both intoxicating and tormenting at the same time. The cost is not only the pain of rejection or betrayal, it is the cost of losing yourself in someone else's story. It is the cost of chasing what was never yours, while the part of you that longs for real love waits unseen. But here lies the gift hidden in the shadow. The forbidden attraction, when faced honestly, can awaken you to your own deepest needs. It can show you what you project onto men. It can reveal the wounds you still carry. And it can teach you that the power you felt was never about him. It was about you. To awaken is to see the projection dissolve. To realize that the qualities you longed for in him are qualities you are called to nurture in yourself. Or to seek in a partner who is truly free. When you stop giving your unconscious power to the forbidden, you begin to see men as they are, not as mirrors of your shadow. Desire is not the enemy. It is a teacher. Even when it leads you to the forbidden, it reveals what you crave most. Jung said that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. The attraction to taken men is one of those patterns. If you do not face it, you may call it destiny, thinking, I always fall for the wrong man, why me? But if you face it, you can finally see that it was never fate. It was a mirror waiting for you to notice. At the core of this attraction is often a hunger for recognition. The married man, by virtue of his status, seems to prove something about you. If he desires you, it feels like victory, like being chosen above his wife, above his commitment. This hunger comes from wounds, from times you were overlooked, abandoned, unseen. The unconscious seeks to heal by reenacting the wound, but it never works. Instead, it deepens the wound. When you recognize this, you realize the attraction is not about him. It is about the younger part of you still aching to be chosen. And once you see her, once you honor her, you no longer need to chase the unavailable. Freedom begins with awareness. When you can say, I see why I was drawn to him, but I will not confuse intensity with truth, you break the spell. You stop letting your unconscious dictate your choices. You stop letting desire pull you into traps. You begin to desire differently, more wisely, more freely. And this is where the forbidden secret becomes a gift. Because once you uncover it, you no longer live under its shadow. You choose partners who are yours to keep, not men who were never free to give themselves to you. Before we continue, if you have ever felt that someone awakened a part of you you could not protect, the Jung method can help. It reveals the hidden patterns behind these connections and shows you how to protect your heart while staying true to yourself. The link is pinned in the first comment. Now, let us go deeper. The forbidden attraction to taken men does not happen by accident. It is not random, and it is not simply a matter of physical chemistry. It is a story written in the unconscious, long before you knew how to name it. For many women, the attraction to the unavailable is tied to the earliest wounds of childhood, the first time they felt unseen, unchosen, or pushed aside. The child who longed for attention from a distracted father, or love from someone who could not give it, grows into the woman who feels the same pull toward the man who cannot be hers. This is the unconscious repeating itself, trying to heal through repetition what was never healed at the source. But the repetition does not heal. It only deepens the wound. The more you chase the unavailable, the more unavailable you feel to yourself. The more you long for the man who is taken, the more you deny your own worth. As if the only proof of value comes from being chosen against impossible odds. In Jungian psychology, this is the shadow demanding to be seen. The shadow is not evil. It is the collection of parts you have not yet integrated. And when those parts ache for recognition, they use desire as their voice. This is why forbidden attraction feels so consuming. Because it is not only the man who burns in your mind, it is the unhealed part of you that rises to the surface. The body trembles, not only because of his presence, but because the unconscious is shouting, look at me, see me, heal me. The danger is that, if you confuse this cry for destiny, you lose yourself in a story that never belonged to you. And yet, there is a strange gift hidden in this. Desire, even forbidden desire, is a teacher. It reveals your deepest hunger. It shows you where you still bleed, where you still long, where you still hide. To feel the forbidden attraction is not a failure. It is a signal. It tells you that there is something within you waiting to be reclaimed. The problem comes when you mistake the signal for the solution. The married man is not the answer. He is the mirror. He is the stage on which your shadow reveals itself. And if you mistake the mirror for the medicine, you end up repeating the cycle again and again. This is why so many women describe the same story in different bodies. They say, "I don't know why, but I always fall for men who are taken, or unavailable, or distant." What they are describing is not fate, but pattern. And patterns can be broken once they are seen. The intensity of this attraction also comes from secrecy. What is hidden feels powerful. The forbidden has always carried a spark of danger. And danger, mixed with desire, creates adrenaline. The rush of adrenaline feels like passion, like destiny, like something larger than life. But this is the lie of the forbidden. It burns brighter not because it is truer, but because it is dangerous. It is the same reason children are tempted by what they are told not to touch. It is the same reason the forbidden fruit in the garden appeared more beautiful than any other. The unconscious magnifies what is denied, and so, the taken man glows in the dark, brighter than he would if he were free. To recognize this is to break the spell. When you realize that the thrill comes not from love, but from danger, you begin to separate intensity from truth. You begin to see that passion is not always a sign of destiny. Sometimes it is a sign of projection, of shadow, of wounds still unhealed. And when you can hold that awareness, you reclaim your power. Jung said that, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. The forbidden attraction is one of those unconscious forces. You may tell yourself, it is fate that you always fall for men who are taken. But it is not fate. It is a mirror of your unconscious. And once you see it, you can choose differently. The heart often confuses being chosen by the unavailable with victory. If he desires me, the woman thinks, it means I am more than his wife, more than his commitment, more than his limits. But this is an illusion. It is not victory to be seen by someone who cannot keep you. It is not triumph to win attention at the cost of your own worth. The victory comes when you see why you needed that recognition in the first place. The victory comes when you look at the younger part of you, the child within, who still aches to be chosen. And you tell her, I see you, I choose you, I will not abandon you. When you begin to honor that inner child, the attraction to the unavailable weakens, because you no longer need to replay the old wound. You no longer need to prove your worth through impossible love. You begin to desire differently, with clarity, with wisdom, with freedom. This is not to say the pull disappears overnight. Desire is powerful, patterns are deep, but awareness shifts everything. When you feel the attraction rise, and instead of believing it is destiny, you say, I see this, I know what it is, I know where it comes from. You rob it of its power. You step out of the shadow and into the light, and when you live in that light, you begin to notice men you never saw before. Men who are free to love you. Men who do not carry the thrill of danger, but the steadiness of presence. Men who do not belong to someone else, but belong to themselves, and can therefore belong to you. At first, these men may not feel as electrifying. They may not burn with the same forbidden fire. But slowly, you discover that what they offer is not adrenaline but peace, not secrecy but safety, not a shadow but a home. That the forbidden attraction can teach you this contrast. It can reveal how much you have confused intensity with intimacy. Intensity is a flame that burns fast, consuming everything. Intimacy is a fire that warms and endures. The married man ignites intensity. The free man, when chosen with clarity, brings intimacy. And intimacy is what the soul truly longs for. There is also the collective shadow to consider. Society itself glorifies the forbidden. Stories, movies, novels, they all portray the thrill of the affair, the seduction of the unavailable, as if it were the ultimate proof of passion. And so the unconscious is fed from the outside as well, told again and again that the most intense love is the one you cannot have. To free yourself from this, you must awaken not only from your personal shadow, but from the collective spell. You must say, I do not need danger to feel alive. I do not need secrecy to feel chosen. I do not need what is forbidden to know my worth. This awakening is not easy. It demands honesty, courage, and patience with yourself. It demands that you sit with your own hunger, without rushing to feed it with what will never satisfy. It demands that you stop calling your patterns fate, and begin to see them as lessons. But when you do, something extraordinary happens. You discover that the forbidden attraction was never about him. It was about you. It was about the parts of you still waiting to be seen, to be healed, to be loved. And when you love those parts, you no longer chase the forbidden. You choose freely. You love wisely. You desire with both fire and peace. the spell breaks, the shadow dissolves, and you realize that the truest secret was never the man who was taken, but the woman within you who was waiting to be found. And so the question becomes not why you were drawn to him, but why you needed that story in the first place. Why did your soul light up at the man who was already taken and not at the one who was free? When you sit honestly with that question, you begin to see the truth. It was never about him. It was about the energy of being noticed in a place where you thought you were invisible. It was about the spark that touched the wound of being unseen. It was about the thrill of chasing what you once believed you were not worthy to receive directly. To understand this is not to shame yourself, it is to free yourself. It is to realize that the attraction was a message from within, not a command. To act without it was your unconscious showing you what still longs for healing. And once you recognize that, you can thank the attraction for what it revealed, without letting it rule you. You can take back the power you thought belonged to him, and place it back where it belongs, in you. Because in the end, the forbidden attraction is not about loss, it is about awakening. It is the soul's way of asking you to stop chasing shadows and start choosing the light.